Rule number 1,
Bios.
always right. Rule number 2, nothing else matters because
Bios
is always right.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reacting to Dreamcastguy's video talking about the, I guess, controversy that's surrounding Concord. So what's happening with Concord right now is that it is a new PS5 title that's coming to, I believe, PS5, PC, and Xbox. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too sure. So the controversy that's happening around this game is that it's been announced back at the State of Play of this year, and it got a lot of backlash, and it's kind of confusing as to why. It is a 5v5. I don't think it's coming to Xbox just yet. Okay. It is a 5v5 hero shooter, something along the same veins of Overwatch or Marvel Rivals or the new game that's coming from Valve. And for some reason, this game got a lot of hate, and for me at least, it's very confusing as to why. It didn't look bad. It didn't seem to be doing anything, you know, deserving of such negativity, especially when games I just mentioned, besides Overwatch, but like Marvel Rivals, the game coming from Valve, and I believe there's another game I can't remember off the top of my head that's coming out. Oh, wait, it's coming to me. It's that card game. That card. Hold on, it's in the Discord. Let me pull it up. Fragpunk. So Fragpunk, Marvel Rivals, and this upcoming game from Valve are all in similar genre when it comes to being a PvP hero shooter. These games are not getting hate, but for some reason Concord is. So we're going to find out why today and discuss it. So I'm going to play the Concord trailer just so that you guys on YouTube can get, like, you know, the full idea, and then we will watch the Dreamcastguys video. Also to add is that Concord's actually adding a few interesting features that I feel like people would be very appreciative of, especially when these things has been taken out from other games like Overwatch. Like the developers are dedicating to like a evolving, expanding, continuing whatever storyline, which I think Overwatch has been removed from, something that gets you connected to the characters. So I'm just confused like why people are so upset. So here's the trailer that was revealed at the PlayStation Showcase.
Oh, jukebox.
It wasn't the plan.
It was a spontaneous, creative decision made after years of careful research.
Being really old and almost dying a bunch doesn't count as research.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Besides, it worked, didn't it?
How much longer for the upload?
A few more minutes. Hey, start time. Try it with hot sauce. You'll like it. Trust me.
No. Do not trust him.
No. Where's this coming from?
It's coming from you back on the ship saying, trust me, we're professionals. We'll stick to the plan. We can do this. And then, that. That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan. It just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
If we don't leave with this blue light...
Amar, we will. We will.
I'll be waiting outside.
No one moves. We'll be taking this off your hands.
What? This?
Funny.
For YouTube, I have to play it again so that people know what we're talking about.
Slow them down a little for you. Meet at the rendezvous point.
Wait, what? Where's the rendezvous? I didn't catch that.
Copy that, Bill.
Shield out!
Well played.
Fine. They only got one of my legs.
How are those hands?
bad is it? You're still mad at me?
Lennox!
Got him.
One off. This is you.
Got it.
I am developing a taste for destruction.
I love that part.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This would be a very dishonorable way for us all to die.
Don't worry. Nobody's dying dishonorably. And also, we're bringing this back with us. Hey, Mark. What are you doing?
Getting us to the rendezvous point.
Perhaps we should have let go also.
One off. Do not dare.
Well, we were supposed to stick together.
If you let go,
would
I
never leave me.
swear I will be
Oh,
vengeance.
look, there they are.
Hi. What the? I am glad you avoided a dishonorable death.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Or something.
I knew this was gonna work.
This wasn't the plan.
No, it just wasn't the one we started with. All right. Another satisfied customer. Goods delivered. I sent everyone their cut.
Ooh, yeah.
So do you, like, carry it around with you for emergency bland situations or whatever?
Hey, Mara. Don't joke about something like this.
Our next job is somewhere with less scaffolding.
No scaffolding. Zero scaffolding. I promise. We were apart for so long. I thought I'd never feel your fiery embrace again.
You sound ridiculous.
Okay, so that was the cinematic for Concord. You know, nothing crazy, a pretty good cinematic, get you an idea of what the characters are. Some personality, right? People were relating this to Guardians of the Galaxy and saying it like a negative, like this is a Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff and blah blah. In my opinion, I don't see that as a negative. I see that as a positive. Like, what's wrong with taking inspiration from another franchise?
I'm
And-
asleep. It didn't move me like the first Overwatch cinematic romantic face.
Brianna, you're gonna be in timeout. Okay, so now gameplay. So now I'm gonna play some gameplay. It's only 2 minutes long, and then we'll get on to the video.
Free gunning. It's hard work, but it's our work, and we don't take it for granted. Being a free gunner means, well, you're free.
Right on target. Yeah, you better run.
Free gunners have a shot at making something of themselves, a chance to be someone.
All right.
Need a second to fix myself up.
Why not?
And in the wilds, it's anyone's game. You won't survive on your own.
Target blinded.
Finally, to battle. Endless rage!
We risk our lives every day to do the job.
I'll clear the way. Time to show them the big guns. That's me.
This crew will go anywhere. Take any job. Face any enemy. We're the free gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
crew is gathering. Would you like to join us for game night?
Okay, so yeah, that was the gameplay. In my opinion, it was very clean. It captured my attention. I was pretty looking forward to what this game has to offer. And as you saw at the end here, it has like some cinematics that will be being played throughout your gameplay to get you, more involved in the lore and what's going on in this world. And if you probably recognize that the gameplay, it's made by people that used to work at Bungie, and they started their own gaming company, whatever, and made Concord. So you could expect solid gameplay, gunplay, and stuff like that. And yet, for some reason, it's been a lot of backlash. So we'll be getting into that right now. I have seen extended gameplay from hands-on from like IGN and I forget the other group, and they did a really good job so far from what I've seen of it, like not being a quick brawler, like to the point where you turn to fight somebody and they make you explode, like they kill you in one hit. It seems very well paced and well, just they're really trying to make something different. So let's get on with this.
Bruce Dreamcastguy here, and today we're talking about the next big PS5 exclusive, which is called Concord, because it is coming out relatively soon, and it sounds like it might be a broken mess with bad class balancing, unfun gameplay, extremely slow combat. Just in general, I think this is about to be a very expensive Sony L. And I want to talk about it because I must admit, I am fascinated by the fact that PlayStation is putting so many billions of dollars into this. But let's talk about it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let me start off by explaining what Concord is. So this is a game that's made by a studio called Firewalk. Now the rumor is that apparently they've been working on this for years and years and years, and somehow Sony saw this while it was in development and said it was so incredible they bought the entire studio. They actually purchased Firewalk to keep this as a PlayStation exclusive. Now Sony has said they're really wanting to make more live service projects, stuff that isn't just one upfront cost, because as much as I'm completely obsessed with stuff like Spider-Man or freaking Uncharted or all sorts of stuff that Sony has been doing and doing very well, I mean, I think we can all admit that when it comes to PlayStation stuff, a lot of times because they are single player experiences that are very narrative focused, you beat it, you love it, you finish it, you platinum it, and then you put it down. Sony wants to have more stuff where they can have seasons and battle passes and microtransactions, long-term money printers, and that's clearly what Concord is supposed to be. So here coming up in 2 weeks, we're about to get a closed beta where you can actually try it. And I am going to be playing it and doing a video myself, but I was also curious because today the first previews have begun to come out. A lot of major websites across the world were allowed to sit down and play a couple hours of the game itself, and they said that it's actually shockingly unbalanced, which I must admit is the weirdest part. This is a hero shooter. It's a game that actually has specific classes that have particular abilities that let you have extra defense or offense or movement or support. So the full game is going to have 16 heroes, 12 maps, and 6 modes. It's going to have a bunch of different seasons of content, and it sounds like the seasons will be free. Just by buying the game costs $40. You can play it forever. It has a lot of different modes that are both single life and respawn. They did say that some of the stuff is like capture the flag style stuff or hold the point, sort of King of the Hill. They did say that one of the modes that people were saying is the most fun is like what is that? In Call of Duty, kill confirmed, where you kill somebody and they drop like a little, dog tag and you pick it up for a point. Apparently they have a mode like that, which is pretty decent. But the biggest problem is the fact that the lack of actual tuning. So apparently the movement itself feels very floaty, says something like Destiny or Halo. And we're going to take a look at some gameplay here in a minute.
Okay. Are these negatives? Are these negatives? Doesn't sound like a negative so far.
Most of the characters have a double jump, some characters have a triple jump or a dodge. Heroes
Okay.
have 2 abilities and a passive skill, but no ultimates. Okay, I actually
Okay.
kind of like that. I think it's cooler when a lot of times when your character feels very built to kill, very built and ready to go, and you're not waiting for like a particular power up. Each free gunner has a unique weapon and a health pool. Before a match, you have to select from a small crew of heroes to choose from, and you can only swap to those during the game. Oh, interesting. So instead of just making it so you start with like one particular person, you can swap to anybody, you make a couple different selections at once. Each hero can be selected once per team, but there's no role limit. Yeah, so this is one of the complaints I've heard, which is that, in something like Overwatch or something like that, there is a balancing to it automatically where you can't just have all healers, you can't just have all tanks, you can't just have a bunch of people that are going to block and make it not very fun. This doesn't have that. You can be any balancing of killers and healers and whatever, and I've heard that actually very much breaks it. Since some of this balancing is so bad, apparently you can just all play the most busted, overpowered characters and break it, or sometimes if you get stuck as a weaker character, you're just not going to have fun. Like, sorry, man, everybody picked all the good characters. You got to be the crappy, weak.
It doesn't have that anymore. So for Overwatch, if he wants to compare it to that, Overwatch did have a hero balancing issue back when you could pick any characters you want. You were able to go like a combination of, what was it again? Like a bunch of tracers, a bunch of, well, not mercies, but a bunch of Torbs and win games, a bunch of Bastion and win games. Like you could have like a bunch of Bastions and like one healer just out of nowhere and win games. There was no hero limit. Yeah, like the balancing didn't really happen until they did, well, I'm not gonna say until they did roll queue, but until people established 222. And then all the nerfs and stuff that came in after, like Overwatch, which is still not balanced, didn't just become that way. It took time. All the way up to what Concord is right now, having a beta and stuff like that. Now, we don't know how soon the game will come out after the beta, I don't think. But the balancing will take time. The game is in beta. Now, I understand how we are kind of scarred and traumatized and very untrustworthy of gaming companies having these betas and then the game coming out really, really soon. So it's kind of like, okay, it wasn't really a beta, it wasn't really an alpha, like and then they didn't take any fixing or balancing into consideration because the game is coming out so quickly. It was just a way to get people in the door. So if it was like that, I can understand these complaints, but I don't think we really know when the game is launching. No, the game is launching in August, right? Like that's the launch date, but it's having a beta. Okay, so there is early access in July 12 to 14, open beta weekend from July 18 to 21. So that's really close together. And then let me see. Concord release date.
August 2024.
Okay. Okay, shut up. Okay, so it is really, really close. Okay, so now that we know that there is, yeah, it is, they are a bit too close together. So that does kind of raise some concerns for the balancing, but at the same time, balancing can be fixed over time. But yeah. So let me see. Overwatch was kind of close together too. Like when Overwatch was first coming out, it wasn't like, was it? Oh, it's hard to remember. But anyway, I feel like this isn't too much a concern. A more concerning thing would be like, if the game is not working, we know what the monetization is. The balancing is something that I can be a little bit lenient towards, but let's continue.
A crappy, weak character with no health and no aiming abilities. It has Destiny shooting with slightly slower movement and around double the time to kill of Call of Duty. Weekly story vignettes. So,
Okay, in my opinion, that sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm actually tired of games that are super high to kill. Overwatch, XD Defiant, Call of Duty, etc. I even Destiny to a point, like you blow up instantly. It's like, that's super fast, super kill, super quick to kill. I feel like when games are like that, it's not as fun because you turn a corner and you're dead. Someone looks at you and you're dead. That's not fun, like, and also not every game needs to be like that. I've seen gameplay of Concord and I like that it is slower. It gives you more time to react. You have counterplay to plan your next move. It gives you a chance to do something about it. My only problem with Warzone is another one. You die so quickly. Walk in the street and dead. Yeah, Halo as well. Halo, I think Halo's like is in an in between, but sometimes you can just no, you can tell there's a lot of BS in Halo, and there was big BS with big BS with stress test for Concord, but yeah, I don't think this is a negative. I don't think this is a I think this is absolutely fine, and I think not more games, but there should be more PvP hero shooter. I mean, hero shooter, yeah, hero shooter, like competitive versus type games that have a longer time to kill. Like, that's fine.
this is one of the ones that actually shocked me the most. This was actually the main inspiration. So this is Stella. She works at IGN, and she does a lot of FPS coverage. She does all sorts of stuff where she has competed and played and stuff and done spectating and done... She's the kind of person that doesn't just play a lot of esports, but she covers it with a very critical eye. So, even if you disagree with her opinion, I think she comes up with a lot of very good, very detailed points about how stuff is actually working. And one of the things she brings up in her IGN video here, you can see the entire comment section is like, bro, this game is going to bomb. This game has no freaking way. It's going to have no longevity. It's not going to have any actual legs to it. But here's the part I thought was the most interesting, is she talked about the fact that
this Backlash is so scary. It's so scary.
That because the character balancing is so terrible, certain people are way better at just general action. If you don't get particular characters, you can't play. She said this character here has a homing rocket launcher that does 43 direct damage and splash damage to everybody around it, which means that in general, you could just wipe out entire chunks of team. She also made it a point to say that this game is so focused on kills, of team kills. Look at that, a double kill there. Because this game is so laser focused on team play and team kills, playing by yourself is pretty much impossible. You know when you're playing a game like Call of Duty or Valorant or something, and if you're good enough, you can wipe out the enemy team, or at the very least, you can get 1 or 2 or 3 kills and you feel like a badass. Apparently in this, that's impossible. It is built from the ground up for team play only. So if you actually try and just play good, that's not enough. It is a game where you have to move as a group, attack as a group, use special abilities as a group, or it's downright unplayable. Look how slow that time to...
So I can kind of understand this being an issue, like focus on team play, but I feel like that's just apparent with like the time to kill. Because if the time to kill was higher, it would give more room to solo carrying, because you have more damage or less of a health pool, either or, to go through a team. In this case, where the time to kill is much higher, you do kind of need your team to deal with certain characters. Now, I would really be curious to see like how the tank, for example, is like the big what's his name, I forget his name, but the robot, if there was a team full of him, would it be like would the balancing break with him? I know that the healing would probably break the game a little bit. I can understand that, but those things can be fixed and tweaked. I don't think like all of that is a detriment, you know? Like these things can be fixed, they can be tweaked. Wait, he just talked about rocket launcher character deleting people, then he says you can't do anything without a team. Math is not mathing. That is true. That is true.
Kill is.
He did say that. He said you cannot solo. But yet if that one character could wipe a team, then okay.
Oh my god, that looks so bad. That guy walked away while getting shot by 2 players. Oh yeah, look at this dodge. Every time you dodge, it goes to this third-person view, which Destiny does as well, but apparently there's this slight delay to it, so when you try and dodge, a lot of times it just straight up does not actually activate instantaneously. I must admit that I am now morbidly curious about this, because...
I bet, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if she had downsides to her weapon. It's giving nitpicks.
It's clear that this is the kind of
yeah, it is giving nitpicks a little
stuff
bit
that PlayStation does want. They're gonna keep making stuff.
It's a lot of like stuff that we haven't even had the game yet, you know?
Like Spider-Man 3 and Wolverine and another Ratchet and Clank, and hopefully there's rumors of like a new Uncharted being made and stuff. But I do think that it's pretty clear that this is what PlayStation wants on the back burner. They want to have a way to keep having their fan base log in and play stuff and keep buying microtransactions. Now, they have released statements that apparently all the microtransactions, every character is unlocked, everything. Microtransactions are purely for cosmetic, but I'm at the point where that to me no longer feels like a W. Like, okay, I'm glad you're not scamming us as hard, but I don't know. This just seems like, honestly, this just seems terrible.
I really don't get it. I don't understand this opinion.
And I'm so curious to play it for myself. Maybe it will win me over, but man, the more we see of it, the more it just seems like this is going to be such an expensive failure for PlayStation. And I think everybody knows that already. But what do you guys think about this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.
Okay, so that was Dreamcastguy, but basically this is just an idea of the summarization of everybody's like just a reaction to this game. Tell me I'm wrong. No, he's just talking to talk. Like it's just like it's not just him. It's literally everyone's reacting to this, and it confuses me because we have Marvel Rivals, we have the I just said that game. We have Marvel Rivals. We have the game that Valve is doing, which I believe the time to kill is around this game's time to kill. Hey, Super. Deadlock. Thank you, Jay Brown. Deadlock. And then we have Fragpunk. Like, we have these games that are coming out. They may not be the same mechanical-wise to Concord.
Like how I made a new Chinese word.
Oh, Breb. But yeah, we have these games, and they're not receiving the same type of backlash. I just don't understand it. And I like what I've gathered is that it's because it's Sony. Is that Sony is trying to Sony is trying to enter in this space, but Sony is in this space because they have Destiny, and also this thing that he had here in this video on the list,
like and subscribe.
On the list that he had, talking about the movement is floaty, reminiscent of Destiny or Halo. It's because the people that worked on this game are developers that were from Destiny and Halo. So why is that a negative? I I am very confused. I don't agree with the sentiment at all. That might be a hot take. I think we should just wait until we have the game. That will be this month, later in the month to play, and we need to be critical, but like, critical in a way that makes sense. Like, there are people like myself that are looking forward to this game. Next month? No. The early access is this month. Play the open beta. There's gonna be an early access weekend on the 12th, and then yeah. So let me know your opinions down in the comments. Do you think Concord is a failure on arrival? Are you also confused at the backlash? Are you looking forward to the game? Let me know, because I don't understand it. I'm looking forward to it. I like the idea of a longer to kill type of PvP game. I'm tired of the short time to kill games. I just want something different and new. Like, it is not new, but they are trying to do something different, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now I want to see more. Even with the passive listening, I don't see an issue yet. I really don't get it. It just sounds like people are just talking to talk, and they're just repeating negativity for negativity's sake. It just that's how it just comes off. Alrighty. Do you guys want to see some? Actually, yeah, let's see some gameplay. Oh, so here's one from 6 days ago.
Concord was originally teased last year with a simple video that showcased a ship cruising through space. After seeing that short teaser, I honestly expected to see a story-driven FPS. This is a first-party Sony game, after all, but maybe it'd be something like an MMO, a la Destiny. I was on board for a new experience regardless, but then I was somewhat surprised to learn that Concord is in fact a 5v5 shooter. And now that I've played it, I'm very glad that Concord does plan on keeping up with its world lore and ongoing storyline, since some of my favorite FPS games like Overwatch and Apex Legends do this seasonally as well. Each season that releases will be free to all players, who only have to purchase the game and enjoy future updates to come. While I enjoyed my time in the limited hands-on preview overall, I have several concerns for the longevity of Concord and what it has to offer. Concord's meat and potatoes formula is a pretty standard 5v5 setup, with two teams choosing their preferred character before diving into an objective-based team battle. During the preview,
Two-shotting. Low time to kill where? Wait. I mean, I did know that's the sniper class.
Are you not ashamed of yourself? Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Okay, hold on, Beyond. That's the sniper class, and she was shooting.
I have several concerns for the longevity of Concord and what it has to offer.
Yeah, that's half HP right there. That was a body shot too. Okay, so let's see.
Concord's meat and potatoes formula is a pretty standard 5v5 setup, with two teams choosing their preferred character before diving into an objective-based team battle. During the preview, I was able to play 3 of 6 modes that will be available at launch: Trophy Hunt, Cargo Run, and Clashpoint. Trophy Hunt was the only one that featured respawns in the match and was basically kill-confirmed team deathmatch. The single life modes were tough to warm up on while still getting to know the game, as failure obviously means you're out of the action for a bit. And while Concord is a fairly straightforward FPS, I have a core criticism a mere 2 months from its August 24th launch. In the build I played, the movement felt extremely floaty and required a lot of time to get used to. And while Concord will be—
This must be the lady that he was talking about.
released on PC day and date with PS5, I was only able to preview this on PS5 with a controller. So with that in mind, I'd say the movement is heavily reminiscent of Destiny and Halo. Again, it is incredibly floaty, which could be a fun element if it is done well. However, the way the preview build felt, the feather-like jumps and hang time really didn't match the amount of fast-paced fights that could occur at any time in the matches. While Halo does utilize a similar floaty jump mechanic, the rest of the mechanics and gameplay in Halo justify that reasoning and don't make it feel like the odd element out. Grenades also feel light when lobbed through the air, the various abilities in Halo all have the same weight and cadence to them, and the match pacing reflects the balancing between the base game mechanics. Similarly, Destiny is a game that's more PvE related, and thus does not need the incredibly snappy mechanics that Halo or Concord need in PvP fights.
What? Destiny has PvP. Is Destiny's combat good or not? What was that statement? Hold on. I gotta hear that again.
Balancing between the base game mechanics. Similarly, Destiny is a game that's more PvE related, and thus does not reasoning and don't make it feel like the odd element out. Grenades also feel light when lobbed through the air, the various abilities in Halo all have the same weight and cadence to them, and the match pacing reflects the balancing between the base game mechanics. Similarly, Destiny is a game that's more PvE related, and thus does not need the incredibly snappy mechanics that Halo or Concord need in PvP fights. Even in the PvP fights in Destiny, the usual TTK is slower since the fights can be drawn out due to the different class abilities allowing for slower or faster play, depending on how players choose to engage. So if they decide to be more direct or play a little bit more reserved. Each class has different movement capabilities and healing abilities that ensure match pacing stays consistent throughout. So the problem in Concord, at least in this preview version, is that it takes little pieces from games like Halo.
Especially nobody cares about Destiny PvP. It's not good. That's a lie. That's a lie. There is a good amount of people in the Destiny PvP community that have been complaining for years. So I think the actual statement would be is that Destiny does not care about Destiny PvP. So yeah, but yeah, no, people have been complaining about Destiny PvP for a long time. Super can attest to this. They've been trying to get it fixed. Well, not get it fixed, but like try to get content arisen in it and get it fixed for the balancing and whatever. But Bungie not refuses, but they've had a bad track record of just, separating the balance. It's a whole mess. But it's at the point now where a lot of that community has given up or is leaving. So yeah. So it's not like, there was a community there. They're just fed up with how Bungie handled it.
Halo and Destiny and mixes them together in a formula that doesn't quite come together for me as of yet.
Yeah.
Concord actually utilizes the same type of dodge animation from Destiny that pulls you out into third person. While I liked this element in Destiny, in Concord it doesn't quite work because there's a brief but noticeable delay between your input of the dodge and the actual deployment. This can make or break your life since timing is everything in competitive play, and a single hesitation or simulated hesitation through the delayed input can punish you greatly.
I can understand that, like, the delay is can get you killed and stuff like that. I can understand that, no problem. Because, like, these are things that can be fixed, but people are making it seem like the end of the freaking game. It's like, hold your brakes, relax.
There are set to be 6 total maps at launch, so maybe some of the game modes will feel better paced and optimized on the other ones when spread out. But the way things stand currently, most maps felt oddly misshapen. Some lanes were too long or big and barely saw rotations, while the second lane in another map would just feel entirely too small and cause prolonged teamfights due to its claustrophobic size.
Okay, I don't know much about map design for PvP games, but I'm very curious of why that matters. Do other games have like more similar and because like in Overwatch there's a lot of that. There's long ways where drawn out fights could happen. There's short ways where short fights can happen or long fights can happen. It's kind of a toss up. I don't really think that matters. I think what matters in a map is that like, it just has to be balanced for like sight lines. That way like a sniper Like if you want to hide from a sniper, you should be able to do that, but at the same time, the sniper like cannot abuse where they're at, or like, is the map easy to memorize so that you know where to go, where to hide, how to engage, how to flank, like, that type of thing. I think that matters more. Junkertown shade. Junkertown. Anyways.
Concord touts its competitive nature and fast-paced fights. I love all of that, but found that the competitiveness risks being unwelcoming to new players attempting to learn the game because most of the game modes are single life focused. It's important to note that even if you are an incredible player, Concord is not a game that allows for many 1v2 fights to be won. Unlike a game of Apex or Halo where you can potentially outsmart your opponents and win in 1v2 scenarios, Concord is so heavily a team game that you're not able to succeed if you're on your own. While this is the point of team FPS games, it's pretty punishing for modes like Trophy Hunt where you're encouraged to go off and get kills for the objective. Another reason these lopsided matchups are impossible to win is the fact that each character in Concord has their own health pool and hitbox. This would be fine if the characters had your traditional classes, but Concord doesn't utilize your typical class system. Usually, each class has their own health stats that you can expect each character in that label to have. Take a look at Overwatch, for example. Most tanks have a base health of anywhere from about 525 to 700, with combinations of shields or armor in-game for specific characters that have them like D.Va and Reinhardt. In Concord, it was incredibly difficult to tell what exactly the health pool was for any of the classes, since nothing was really established with their system. For example, One-Off is a really cute robot who sucks up trash and is most definitely a tank character with his big physique, clunky movement, and hard-hitting weaponry who has 300 health. However, Teo, who is essentially a DPS that plays like your traditional ground soldier-like character with no tank abilities, has 220 health as a Concord Ranger class. That's only 80 off of your tank character. But Roka, another character who is essentially a DPS, is classified as a Hunt and has a mere 170 health. What these non-traditional classes mean is extremely confusing. In the preview, we weren't given details on each class and what the terms mean, but
I don't really see what's so confusing. Is anyone confused by this? Do you think that there should be more class HP? Like, I haven't played the game yet, but just from my impression, I don't really think that's a detriment. You see a big character means big health. And this girl is really small. I think it would make sense that her HP is 170. And on top of that, she has a gun that hits pretty, like, decently hard. So you would want her to have low HP so that she's not sitting there forever, lobbing missiles at you. And the other guy, he's like more akin to a soldier. So around 200 HP sounds correct to me.
it all seems a bit arbitrary when the health pools and damage numbers vary so much, causing an even further division of game balancing. Overwatch also utilizes the system of ensuring there is a roster for the amount of characters allowed from each class. Concord currently does not utilize a mechanic like this and allows players to use whatever characters they want, since these class systems are not traditional. While this is fun in theory, my brief experience playing a competitive game like Concord, it doesn't pan out too well. Another reason Concord is so heavily a team-based game is that each character has their own running speed and damage output. It could be argued that this is an extension of the lack of clear classes, but I did want to focus on this as its own balancing issue. The DPS on characters is pretty important since you're allowed to have a team of whatever characters you want. There are definitely some overpowered characters in the preview build that you really did need on your team if you wanted to win, specifically in Trophy Hunt. Let's take a look at the rocket launcher free gunner Roka. She's able to deal 43 damage with direct hits while rapidly firing and establishing her lock on target almost instantly. After having done some watchbacks, it seems there's no real answer to what the distance of Roka's splash damage is, and how much it does consistently. So far, I've seen it hit from a decent distance for 12 damage, then also hit for 27 damage closer to the target. Roka also has 8 total rockets to use before she has to reload, so these numbers add up pretty quickly. Comparing this to Overwatch's Pharah, another rocket launcher wielding character, she only does 40 damage to an enemy when it's a direct hit, with her splash damage being about half that. She also has only 6 rockets before having to reload and does not have any abilities for lock on fire. Obviously, comparing these two games head to head isn't fair to either, but it's really important to note the difference between balancing. It is entirely possible that with time, Concord will be able to get
It's okay. I I play Overwatch. I played Overwatch for years, and getting hit by a freaking Pharah who that has like even though okay, she's trying to say that like she's trying to say that because this character has 8 bullets, she can shoot longer. But at the same time, it doesn't matter because Pharah has 6 bullets. So it it depends on like the reload animation at that point. Like how long does it take to reload, you know, before they can start shooting again. Now, if she compared that, I think that would have been a better comparison. Like, okay, this character who has rockets and it hits this much and yada yada. She reloads this quickly, that you know, making her shoot more and stuff like that. And Pharah does this much and da da da. So like, I'm like, okay, I can see an issue here, but 8 to 6 difference in bullets. I'm like, okay, so she shoots 1 less, but if she reloads just the same, it's just gonna keep up same DPS. It's not really a factor.
Get a better grasp for how.
But I can understand what she's saying when it comes to like, you know, trying to figure out what you can do. Like she's shooting me, what can I do to mitigate the damage or what I have to, like, I can understand that aspect of it.
Balancing should be maintained, but the way it stands currently, I'm concerned for the more casual player's experience and general approachability. The option to play crossplay with PC and PS5 will be available at launch, which is good news for players like me who have friends on both platforms. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword. The preview build I played showcased heavy aim assist on controllers. It was most noticeable on Roka, the rocket launcher character, since her weapon auto-locks on. I would find myself having to really rip the thumbstick away to get her to turn away from the nearest enemy that I didn't even want to target. The other characters I played didn't feature nearly as aggressive aim assist, but I could feel the magnetization there, which was a bit frustrating and concerning, considering the option for crossplay would be enabled at launch. While, yes, you could argue that on PC you can do more rapid movement adjustments on the fly, the ever-ongoing battle between controller aim assist versus keyboard and mouse movement just seems to be really aggravated here.
Okay, that's a fine complaint. Like if they need to turn down aim assist or make adjustments on that, that's a fair complaint. I have no problem with that.
My fingers are crossed that Concord is able to tighten up its floaty controls and address its character balancing before it drops on August 24th for PS5 and PC. For more Concord news or more game previews,
Which is all we can ever ask for. Now let's take a look at some of the comments. Stella here, there will actually be 12 maps at launch August 23rd, not the 24th. Okay. Yet to be convinced this one isn't dead on arrival. Concord, what are you smoking? Seraphora only does 40 damage on a direct hit. She does 100. I thought that sounded weird. Because she 2-shots you. If she was 40 damage, she would have to 4-shot you. 40, 80. Wait, it's 250 right now. So 40, 80. Yeah, 4 to 5-shot you. Oh my god. How did I not? I was paying attention. She does 120 damage. She 2-shots you. Let me give this character out. Let me get this guy a like. Yeah, she clearly is. She's pretending she understands way more about games she's mentioning than she actually does. Okay. IGN does not game. You should know this by now. Oh my god. Okay. So that okay. So that just okay. This irritates me. You're sitting here. Hold on. What did she freaking say?
Roka also has 8 total rockets to use before she has to reload, so these numbers add up pretty quickly. Comparing this to Overwatch's Pharah, another rocket launcher wielding character, she only does 40 damage to an enemy when it's a direct hit with her.
When was this video taken?
Splash damage being about half that. She also has only.
Oh my god, Pharah's splash damage is not half. It's not. Oh my god, wait. Jesus Christ. Knowing 99.9% people of the internet, I'll wait to actually try it myself before basing my opinion off of YouTubers' thoughts. Thank you. I almost want to just take the whole video and throw it away now that I've noticed this error. And then we have, I have to say it, where is he? And then we have, what's his name, talking about how she is an experienced, reputable, whatever. And it's not even just that, because it really makes you think about, like, you know, the whole thing. Like, you should know what you're saying here. So now I'm really questioning. So I feel like it's starting to come up. It's starting to feel like he watched the video, and then it's just repeating what she said. That's how it's coming off. So it's just adding more hate around this game that doesn't need to be there. I just feel like, okay, that's really annoying. So we have people literally attacking a game. It just feels unjustified. It's like, where? Oh, I don't even know what to think.